Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications. And now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA. The relationship between oil companies and their host communities in the Niger Delta has long been a source of tension, often sparking confrontations and bad blood. Recently, there's been an avalanche of oil and gas firms exiting their onshore assets. Many observers say the frosty relationships with host communities may be one of the reasons big oil firms are divesting into offshore operations. For decades, locals have accused the oil majors of neglecting corporate social responsibilities, refusing to engage meaningfully with host communities and shutting them out from employment and contracting opportunities. The Oroji of Ukpe Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Major General Felix Mujakpero, retired, while speaking recently, said the concerns and agitations of host communities to be part and parcel of oil and gas activities on their soil are legitimate, and it's only fair that they are taken into consideration.
The oil companies, they don't apply our people. None of our people are in the top management of the companies. So they can deal with us. Nobody talk for us. These are issues you have to look at. Employment, contract. You'll be doing project in my place, you can't get the contract for one Yoruba or one Ikoma to come and do. They employ people to come and do work in that place. Our people are suffering. Our boys are working the streets. These are the issues we wanted to look into, so that we can share the narratives, so that Robo will occupy his place in the Committee of Nations in the whole of Nigeria.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Clashes between contractors and community dwellers during project execution have been identified as one of the major setbacks, slowing down development across Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta. These hostilities, often triggered by community demands for settlement before work begins, have in many cases led to project withdrawal and abandonment. The managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, who has lamented this trend on several occasions, is now appealing to community leaders and youths to guard against such practices in order to prevent delays in delivering key development projects across the region.
While poor funding, lack of continuity in governance, and weak project management have been identified as major factors behind the huge number of abandoned projects across Nigeria and the Niger Delta in particular, some stakeholders believe that community actions also play a role. A former Community Development Committee chairperson of Obricom in Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area of Rivers State, Mr. Ben Oso, and the project contractor, Engineer Azu Chukuma, told Inside the Niger Delta that frequent demands for settlements from host communities often contribute to project delays or outright abandonment.
Some of the communities that you meet as a contractor have the notion that they are entitled to whatever you're doing for them. It takes you a lot of time to explain to them. Because they feel entitled, they think that part of the project money should be given to them, and they even say to you that you should give your bill of quantities to them for them to look at and say this part should come to us, another, but nobody does that. And sometimes these demands make it impossible for contractors to actually succeed.
Most of those people that will make demands for matching grant and all that, as they call it. Give them job, they won't want to do it. There are cases where contractors who won't want to do that, they will leave, and some of them might even get violent and chase contractors out.
For the Niger Delta Development Commission, saddled with the responsibility of facilitating development across the region, this remains one of its biggest hurdles in project delivery. The Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Obuku, while addressing young people from the region some time ago, explained how such practices continue to hamper the Commission's service delivery.
If you have any issue with you go to the state office. In the past, sir, NDDC was reduced to an agency where contractors dictate where they will put a project. But today you see projects in some places because we decide where you must do the project. Because we want these projects to spread. We want these communities to benefit. It is not my responsibility as MD to call you to say this contractor is coming home. Make sure that you will do this for you. If you don't want the contractor to work on it, we'll move that development to another community. So, and I believe every contractor that comes must also know what it calls community relations.
Engineer Chukuma confirmed that the demand for payment by contractors to community leaders, otherwise notoriously known as matching ground, has indeed sent some NDDC contractors packing.
They don't know that they are the ones losing, but I have seen that happen. Contractors come back to the NDDC to say, come and measure what I've done, pay me that bit. I can't stand it. It happens. So if you have a contractor coming with solar lights, coming with road, any facility at all, water, just allow the contractor, take the projects. Don't look for the profit. Allow the contractor to go and deal with the profit, but take your projects.
Meanwhile, Director of Project Management Department of the NDDC, Engineer Abrahams Oduku, explained how the Commission is addressing this challenge.
I assure you, with the coming of this present management led by Dr. Samuel Oduku, they have seen very, very rapid change when it comes to those community hostilities with the Commission. I guess it's because of better engagement with them. I guess also it's because they also have this buying into our budget. So we don't just cite projects in communities without communities also having their own stake.
While there seems to be some progress in this regard, the NDDC helmsman, Dr. Samuel Obuku, while addressing community leaders at his hometown of Ayakoro, recently called for their continued support during project delivery.
Any community that finds any challenge with any of the contractor, please come to us. Do not frustrate the contractor. We can handle it. In some areas, you even want to install a transformer that will give light to some communities. And you see that the community will tell you you have to buy the land where the transformer will be installed. It sounds very, very funny. However, the purchase of the land is not contained in the contractor's payment. So where is the contractor going to get money to buy that land? So communities must learn. Sometimes you have to sacrifice.
For the NDDC, community leaders and dwellers remain critical partners in the onerous task of facilitating the overall development of the oil-rich region. This, the Commission insists, is important to clear the backlog of about 13,000 abandoned projects littered across communities in the region, in line with the mandate of President Bola Tinubu to ensure the speedy completion of these abandoned projects.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The issues of job creation and skills development as a way out of unemployment and its associated challenges are on the fore again, as young people from the oil-rich Niger Delta region speak on the way forward for the region. Some youth leaders from the region who spoke to Inside the Niger Delta insist that it is the continuing inability of government at all levels to provide meaningful engagement for the region's teeming young population that is encouraging restiveness and criminality. They also bemoan the level of poverty in the region, despite its huge resources.
The Niger Delta, a region known for its vast hydrocarbon deposit and rich agricultural resources, account for about 80% of Nigeria's export earnings and stands as the heartbeat of Nigeria's economy. However, poverty and youth unemployment rates in the Niger Delta are significantly higher than the national average. For example, Bayelsa State is said to have a youth unemployment rate of about 38.4%, while Rivers has about 27.9% compared to the national average of 21.1%. For decades now, this has been a major challenge, and the young population, in a bid to change this ugly narrative and demand a better deal from the Nigerian state and the multinationals operating in the region, took to armed agitations and militancy. The federal government under late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua in 2009 responded and launched the Presidential Amnesty Program, PAP, to douse the growing tension. It was an initiative that hoped to demobilize, disarm and reintegrate ex-militants by turning in their arms for socio-economic empowerment. This brought an end to constant attacks on oil and gas assets in the region, but observers say it is a far cry from the complete rehabilitation and empowerment of disillusioned youth in the region.
The Niger Delta youth has been promised, after dropping their arms, so many empowerment, but from what we are seeing, some of the places in the Niger Delta are still not being developed, being empowered.
Speaking to Inside the Niger Delta, some youth leaders from across the region stressed the need for government at all levels to come up with sustainable initiatives to engage the youth.
As a Niger Delta youth, the quantum of what we contribute to the GDP of Nigeria cannot be quantified with the level of development in the Niger Delta. Let there be creation of jobs. Let the country be industrialized so that our youth can be engaged. Because if the youth are engaged, the insecurity in our nation will be reduced.
The majority of the youth are jobless. So I want the federal government to really look into how employment can be created for this youth. If majority of the youth are gainfully employed, it will go a long way to reduce the issue of social vices among our youth.
They are, however, also challenging themselves to come up with local solutions that would engage them and also allow them contribute to the growth and development of the region.
Story that the future belongs to the youth, or that the youth are the future leaders, should be expunged. For us now, we're beginning to see that we are presently the leaders. And the idea is this: when you begin to see yourself as a leader, you begin to take up responsibility. And when you begin to take up responsibility, you begin to see yourself as a nation builder, begin to contribute your own quota in whatever capacity that you can.
We continue to seek our government should increase, should improve its youth empowerment programs and get it to as many people as possible. The youth themselves, go beyond what the government is providing. See how they can tap into their ingenuity. See how they can tap into their creativity. And it's true, try as much as possible to stay away from some of the things that are devastating the youth today.
Inside the Niger Delta. Azikio Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikio Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
Residents of Ayeyemi community in Ondo West and Isikon community in Akure South local government areas of Ondo State have appealed to the state government and to the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) to urgently intervene and end the perennial problem of water scarcity in their areas. The people, who lament years of neglect, explain that the acute shortage of potable water has continued to expose them to sanitary challenges and severe health risks.
In Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta, the 2011 UNEP report on Ogoni land, amongst other findings,
recorded that water resources are contaminated with benzene at levels over 900 times higher than World Health Organization guidelines, a severe risk to public health. While this has become a major focus of advocacy for environmentalists and human rights activists for a cleanup of the environment, other communities are bemoaning the complete lack of access to potable water. If indeed water is life, what then can be said of the survival of such communities? In Ayeyemi community of Ondo State, for instance, the experience can be likened to a thorn in the flesh.
People have to walk for miles before they can have good access to water. And when we are talking about water, we are talking about good water. There is no resourceful, there is no borehole around here.
Before we can see water, we go down there, maybe, even though I can take machine or my vehicle sometimes to go to farm and fresh water before I can get water to use. So there's no water in this environment in dry season.
The story is almost the same in Isikon community, Akure South local government area. During the rainy season, the people say they rely on wells and tanks to harvest rainwater for domestic use. But when the rains stop, life becomes more or less a nightmare.
I did a borehole, but the water content there, it was discovered that it cannot serve the street for a month. So that there's no need, they said there's no need to continue, that I need to do blasting. I tried to make dig a well here as well. It does not get in contact. And when there's no rainfall, I go about to fetch water from other people that has well. It's so unfortunate.
You find water, go far away before you see water to use. Sometimes the tap will work, sometimes it will not work.
Despite attempts in the past to connect homes to a water supply, what remains today is nothing more than a network of abandoned water infrastructure. According to Mr. Adeyonu Adeyemi and Mr. Sunday Ajagbe, who reside in the area, politicians have come with lofty promises during electioneering, only to vanish without a trace after elections.
All those politicians, they will come here to come and do campaign, and they give us a lot of promises, and they didn't do anything in terms of water. They said they will do road, they will provide us water, and they did not do it.
They know what people are facing, but they will promise, don't worry, after election they will do this. At the end of the day, nothing to show for it. Before we can get water, we suffer a lot. Some people will go to down the streets, and the place is too far. Even at times, some people, the water that are not good, some people will go and fetch it in order to use.
Frustrated by the years of deprivation and neglect, the residents of these communities are now appealing to both the Ondo State government and the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to intervene and put an end to their long years of water scarcity.
We are begging the government to help us to provide water for our community so that the water will be able to surplus. If the water is surplus now, some people that are in other street, they will not be able to come to our street. And the water will be okay for the people that they are living in one house.
The NDCC should try and help us out here. I won't lie to you. People suffer a lot. At times, when we open this borehole around 5 a.m., you will see a lot of buckets. People will have to queue.
The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, seeks to ensure universal access to safely managed water, sanitation, and hygiene services by the year 2030. However, with progress moving at a very slow pace, particularly in Nigeria and across the Niger Delta region, the fate of communities such as Ayeyemi and Isikon in Ondo State still hangs in the balance. For them, it is therefore imperative that both federal and subnational governments, especially in the Niger Delta, treat the issue with the urgency it deserves.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The message of unity, love, and shared purpose in Igbide Kingdom dominated discussions recently at the annual General Conference of the Isoko-speaking people in Isoko South local government area of Delta State. The three-day event, which held from Friday, September 4th to Sunday, September 7th, 2025, brought together sons and daughters of the kingdom from far and wide to fellowship and deliberate on issues of development and progress under their revered monarch, His Royal Majesty Patrick Okpomo Agre I. The festival-like ceremony, which is the very first under the reign of the new monarch, featured the inauguration of several committees tasked with spearheading the different aspects of development for Igbide Kingdom.
In Igbide Kingdom in Isoko South local government area of Delta State, the past few years have been more or less difficult. The kingdom was entangled in hostilities with surrounding communities, which was further complicated by a tense succession struggle after its 8th king, His Royal Majesty Edward Obukeni, joined his ancestors. The era of crisis is however over with the emergence of His Royal Majesty Patrick Okpomo Agri I, who has ushered in a new reign of peace and unity that is already unfolding both within and beyond the kingdom. This new spirit of love and reconciliation was on full display recently when Igbide Kingdom hosted its 3-day annual conference held from Friday, September 5th to Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Sons and daughters of the kingdom, young and old, as well as well-wishers from outside the kingdom, including neighbors who were at daggers drawn with Igbide, all fellowshipped with each other and deliberated on the way forward for the kingdom. The opening day featured the formal introduction of the king's new cabinet members and the celebration of some distinguished sons and daughters of the kingdom who were recently recognized amongst 200 most outstanding Deltans. They include the Clan Otota of Igbide Kingdom, High Chief MAMODE Felix AKUGHA, the Iyashere of Igbide Kingdom, Chief Sylvester Egede, and Chief Barrister Benjamin Ovrire, who is the Uwe of Igbide Kingdom. Addressing the people, the Ovie, His Royal Majesty Agri I, who spoke through the spokesperson of the kingdom, High Chief AKUGHA, expressed delight that the conference was taking place after so many years, describing it as a sign of restored peace in the land.
Igbide Kingdom is on a new path, a path of revival, growth, and prosperity. All hands must be on deck. To truly move Igbide forward, we must act together. Let us embrace peace, love, and brotherhood. We are all sons and daughters of Eru.
The President General of Igbide Community Development Association, Venerable Honorable Augustine Ovie, described the conference as a symbol of unity and peace that will drive the community's development agenda.
Everybody is happy that the community that was fractionalized for many years has come to be concretized by the grace of God. So there is a firm foundation we have laid, and the structures of governance of this community have been put in place, and everybody has acclaimed to that. For that reason, there is joy over the hearts of the people.
Other members of the community who echoed the general sentiment noted that they are already enjoying the stability their new monarch has brought to the kingdom.
Peace have returned to Igbide community, and we thank God for it. We can see the harmony, the cooperation that is ongoing.
The conference is a conference of success. A lot of contribution was made to make sure that things that were bad are put in position. Unity is what we are still preaching, and we are going to succeed, and we are already succeeding.
We have peace upon all the trouble, upon all the wahala, where Satan set for ground. Today, all is gone. So all Igbide people have victory today.
During the conference, one of the sons of the kingdom, Chief Emamusi Obiode, who is the Delta State Commissioner for Lands, Survey and Urban Development, unveiled a 10 million naira skill acquisition and empowerment scheme for youths in the kingdom. In the course of the conference, the Igbide Kingdom Advisory Council, a body tasked with steering the long-term growth of the kingdom, was established alongside several other subcommittees to champion different aspects of development, including education, infrastructure, and social services, among others. Members of the King's Advisory Council include Her Royal Majesty, the Queen of Igbide Kingdom, Evelyn Agre, Clan Otuta of Igbide Kingdom, High Chief Felix MAMODE AKUGHA, and the Director General, Delta State Internal Revenue Monitoring and Tracking, Chief Mike Edegware. Others are the Delta State Commissioner for Lands, Survey and Urban Development, Chief Emamusi Obiode, Chief Sylvester Egede of the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, and former Managing Director of the Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, NEPZA, Professor Adesoji Adesugba, Deputy President of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce. Chief Charles Alakpa and Barrister Chief Amos Ogba are also part of the advisory team, as well as Mr. Tim Akpareva, Mr. Ekene Ogbeche, and Barrister Joel Ahoada. The President General, Venerable Ovie, then inaugurated the committees. The annual conference wrapped up with a Thanksgiving service at St. John's Anglican Church, Owodopupo. The preacher reminded the congregation of the importance of forgiveness in sustaining peace and growth.
It makes it difficult, make everything so difficult for us to maintain relationship.
The Otuta of the Kingdom, High Chief AKUGHA, and President General, Venerable Ovie, also noted that spiritual progress was just as important as physical development for the growth of the kingdom. Said the kingdom would support the church by undertaking some projects.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Kindly note that you can now also watch our program live on our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria on Mondays at 9 p.m., Tuesdays at 9:20 p.m., and Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria for live updates and many more stories. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screens. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA, thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.